Good morning and welcome to rather cold and crispy Thirlmere here in the Lake District. As you can see behind me, conditions for sunrise are absolutely epic. There's no other word for it. It's looking absolutely stunning this morning. In this video, however, I want to talk to you about the amazing history behind this reservoir. We're going to explore around the landscape that's around me here and chat about what created this reservoir and talk about the controversies behind it. During the 19th century, England was going through what is now known as the Industrial Revolution. And a city just 100 miles south of my location, Manchester, played a big part in the Industrial Revolution. They created cotton mills, textile factories, but the problem was, with all these factories being created and the demand for all these new goods, they needed a source of clean water. And at the time, clean water in big cities was a big rarity. So what city planners had to do was look north towards what is now known as the Lake District National Park to find a solution to their problem. At this point, the proposal for Thirlmere Reservoir was created. With the proposals for this new reservoir now public, as you can imagine, those living in this area at the time, and especially those who were living in the area that would be flooded, were not best pleased. So in around 1877, the Thirlmere Defence Association was formed. Now this wasn't your average NIMBY association. The people that led this association were individuals that went on to both found and influence their national trust.
The association sought to preserve the natural beauty and the ecological integrity of the Lake District. Members feared that the industrialisation of the lake would spoil the landscape, disrupt local ecosystems and set a precedent for further exploration of natural sites. Historically, the association was considered to be one of the earliest organised environmental conservation movements in the UK, long before folks started gluing themselves to roads.
How dare you!
The association's efforts contributed towards a growing awareness of the need for environmental conservation, eventually influencing the establishment of organisations such as the aforementioned National Trust.
Despite all of the objections, the government at the time ended up creating what is now known as the Manchester Corporation Waterworks Act. This act gave the Manchester Corporation Waterworks permission to create what is now known as Thirlmere Reservoir, along with this dam wall that I'm standing on at the moment. There's also something else that was created at the time that was very ingenious. I'm going to talk about that after I've taken advantage of the light that's lighting up this clump of trees just behind you at the moment. With all the infrastructure in place, which is this dam wall and the reservoir itself, there needed to be a way of transporting all of this water back down to Manchester. So when this reservoir was created, they also created an ingenious underground aqueduct which transported the water from this reservoir all the way to Manchester through gravity. It just flowed down this sort of long hill for nearly 100 miles underground all the way to Manchester. There are certain points where it crosses rivers, such as the River Lune on the way down, but the majority of this viaduct just flows underground all the way to Manchester, which I think is just ingenious. With the reservoir now established, sadly, some of the objections that were put forward when the project was proposed are now coming to light. More specifically, those issues with regarding to wildlife and the surrounding landscape. At the end of the day, a project of this size was always going to have an impact on these elements. But as time has progressed and the reservoir has settled in, a new ecosystem has developed. And arguably, this ecosystem is more diverse, more stronger than the one that existed previously. Thankfully, worries about industrialisation haven't came to fruition, and the reservoir has sort of served as a bit of a protector to the local area, guarding against further development around its shores. During both World Wars, Thirlmere played a crucial role. Water from the reservoir was vital for industrial processes, including those related to the war effort. The aqueduct's reliability became a strategic asset, ensuring that Manchester's industries could continue to operate. Following the World Wars, there was a bit of a renaissance in recreation, and people started to flood to areas which is now known as the Peak District and Thirlmere to enjoy a little bit of hiking and a little bit of cycling, much as how the area is enjoyed today. Historically, as you can see today, activities on the water are restricted here, unlike other areas in the Lake District. This is for basic, obvious reasons. It's a reservoir at the end of the day, and the water is used for human consumption. Moving forward now into more recent times, the reservoir has continued to face challenges from Mother Nature and developers alike. In 2015, Storm Desmond ripped through Cumbria, causing problems with the water levels here at the reservoir and causing issues with the infrastructure. Then, in 2017, some bright spark had the idea of installing a zip line going right across the reservoir. Thankfully, around a year or two later, those ideas were scrapped. Thirlmere's history is a captivating blend of natural splendour, human ambition and the ongoing quest to find harmony between the two. From its Victorian transformation to the modern environmental challenges, this lake has weathered more than just the Cumbrian rains. Were not best pleased. And around 1877, an official organisation known as the Thirlmere,